Welcome back, everyone. Going in the second half here of Drop Frames. Forgot a little bit of Twitch news. Apparently, yesterday is when this came out. As I was checking the timestamp, Twitch support tweeted, starting today, viewers around the world can join watch parties when the title is available with their Prime membership. Creators outside the US, we have not forgotten you. We're working hard to bring this feature as well. So, looks like it's no more region locked. It's only locked if they don't have the content in their region, is the way that I read that. Did you guys look into that anymore? Am I correct in that statement?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, there you go.
I haven't looked into
Step
it
in the
really.
right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Does this mean for you guys, is that the green light for more watch party content or watch party content to begin with on your channel, or still waiting for a little bit more?
I think that it's awesome. I'm really glad that they're doing that, and I think that it's something that casters should definitely take advantage of. I think me personally, I've got like a 30 deep list of games, and I'd rather play video games for my community and hang out and do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
but to be fair, I think it's awesome that Twitch finally figured that stuff out. I've already seen larger casters taking advantage of it. I know some people are gonna love it, so that's awesome, dude. Like, kudos all around. That's great they were able to do that.
Yeah. I've had a pretty good time watching. I know Max does like Star Trek Saturdays, and I think Jericho's starting up doing some like Anthony Bourdain watch party type stuff, which is really fun to watch. Like it's a crazy thing to like watch no reservations with your audience. Kind of a cool thing. So
That's a hell of a coincidence because I'm in the middle. I think I'm on season 9 or something of Parts Unknown.
Yep.
And I know who Anthony Bourdain was, but I never watched any of his shows. I've seen a couple of like snippets of him here and there, and he always seemed like a guy I would enjoy watching.
Oh yeah,
and
he's great.
They're absolutely right. Like I've binged like 8 seasons, 9 seasons of that show, and it's really great.
Yeah. It's good stuff for sure. Well, let's talk about games. We haven't talked about games in 2 weeks, at least that we've been playing. I haven't, apart from Last of Us 1, I don't think I've played anything apart from that. More Persona. I beat that Persona boss. I'm moving forward in the Persona thing. God, that game's long. I did the math. On average, I stream plus minus 2,000 hours a year. If Persona is keeping with how it's gone so far, 10% of my streaming this year will be Persona 5 Royale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. When you put it like that, that is breathtaking. That is a huge chunk.
It's a lot. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
the only
when I
thing that
streamed
rivaled
it
that
took me a
was,
month and a half.
oh yeah. Yeah, I know. It was a lot. It's a fucking huge game, man. It's a very large game. Yeah. I think I'm forgetting something else that I've played. I'll look that up while I'm doing that. Cohh, what have you been playing on your channel? It's been 2 weeks. I'm sure there's a lot.
Oh yeah, we did. Let's see, Raft. Had a lot of fun with Raft. Man, I mean, to be honest, all this goes so fast. Like I have to pull up a list of what I've.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm literally doing
Yeah.
the exact thing right now.
We just had a big charity stream a few days ago. I played Everspace 2 during that. Everspace 2 is just awesome. It is one of the best alphas that I've ever seen. It is also hilarious because what the Everspace 2 devs have done is they made it so all of the text in the game is placeholder with text to speech. And a lot of the text is actually like pretty well written and good. So like, but it has like Microsoft Sam talking about it. So you'll hear a guy be like, "Oh my God, my engines have burned. It is encroaching on the cockpit. I am on fire. This is not good." And it's just like the most muted and dull. But the game itself is awesome. Basically, Everspace 2 has taken the gameplay of Everspace 1, and Everspace 1, for those who don't know, was a roguelite. So it was a really cool space game, but it was all done in the framework of this guy repeatedly dying, essentially. So it was a lot of fun, but I feel like kind of limited it a bit. So what Everspace 2 is, they had a wildly successful Kickstarter, and they have gone back and taken all of the kind of cool gameplay, weapons, and progression of Everspace, and they're now putting it in a fully like semi-open world sandbox environment where you can like warp around between sectors. It's very freelancy. There's like a big main story now. There's different ships you can get. There's companions. You can level them up. There's each section is like large and has tons of little side content you can do. It is shaping up incredibly nicely, and it's also just really fun to play. It's a great action space game. So that on top of the apparently like potentially collect them all kind of thing you can do with the ships because they all play differently, have different passives. You know, you have a full perk tree, you have different abilities that you can then upgrade as well, and it's cool, man. It's coming along really nicely. Like I definitely played it for about 4 hours, a couple hours during the charity stream, but I only was able to play it for like 15 minutes. Then I went back and played it for a couple hours the next day, and I played it enough where I was like, I need to stop playing this because I'm loving this, and I know I'm going to play the hell out of this on live. So yeah, it's super cool. And there's actually a demo of it now, apparently on Steam for people that want to give it a try.
Are you using a controller or a mouse and keyboard here?
Nope, mouse and keyboard. There's a lot of menus and stuff, so I used mouse and keyboard, and it worked out fantastically.
Okay. Does it have controller support? Do you know?
Oh yeah.
Does it work with that menu stuff though? Is it just like console-ified?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can tell the menus are can be used easily with a controller.
Okay, cool.
So it's very standard. Like you can see them here. Like the shoulder buttons will go back and forth, and it's easy to move around in them for sure.
Cool.
You also have like a little home base, which is kind of cool, and you can go back there and re-up and store a bunch of stuff. You have like a bank system, and yeah, it's really cool, man. Like I very much recommend like freelancer fans to give it a try because I think they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I watched you play a little bit the other day as well. It's kind of winning me over. Like it just looks like a well-made game, whereas I think the first one that necessarily didn't translate that well, but this one just looks like really well made, and it's very pretty.
Oh yeah, dude, it's still an alpha. It had like 0 bugs for an alpha, which blew my mind. There's also like planetary stuff. So like the last mission I did, you actually go to like the surface of a planet, and it looked beautiful, and it was big, and you can just fly around where you want to. And I mean, the area was a huge sandbox. There's cave systems, and you can kind of go through asteroids. I mean, it's gonna be a winner, man. It's gonna be a winner.
We could see the visual aspect of the production. What's the like audio? Is there music when you're getting in dogfights? Like how does that all work?
Oh, there's music all over the place. There's some really cool music actually. The sound effects are fantastic. The weapon effects are really good too, and everything sounds good and feels good. Yeah, like it was really impressive for an alpha. I frequently, if it wasn't for the dialogue and like the storyboard cutscenes and stuff, like it almost feels like you're playing a completed game. Like, and they have 6 months more dev almost to go on it.
Oh, it's that far
they're gonna be doing like a big push in December. Yeah. Like in fact, what's interesting is I didn't even know they were doing this demo when the devs were hanging out in the chat, and I said, when can people play this? And they said December 20th. So I don't know if that's like the release time is going to be December of this year. It certainly feels like it could be. Or if that was just, like when the big next phase of the alpha / beta stuff is. But yeah, it felt great. And apparently I could have played a lot longer. Like there's a lot of stuff even out for it now.
Huh.
Really cool stuff. Also, the main story was actually kind of like fun and engaging. Like I was definitely following along and enjoying it as I was playing it. So
is it your typical like spacefaring story? Like what political intrigue? Like where do they go with the story?
Well, it's not. I'll kind of go into it a little bit since it's not really a spoiler. But the first game, the big thing about you doing it over and over is there's this kind of clone angle, and apparently your character is like this clone that is not supposed to be around anymore. So you're kind of like doing these odd jobs at the beginning, and the big guys kind of come in and try to take you down, and you get captured. And the guy that captured you is like, well, I'm just going to broadcast that you're here all over the world and see how much you're worth. And then apparently like this huge force moves in because you were like, you shouldn't broadcast who I am. And like, so apparently you're this like big deal and you don't know why. And, you hook up with this guy on the way out and all this other stuff happens. And it just seems pretty cool so far. Some fun characters, and looks like it's going to be very entertaining.
Sweet. Yeah. Looks good. And you said demo.
Are these spoilers? Not really. This all happens in like the first like 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the premise of the game. It's not really a spoiler.
This is the public demo.
And this is available on Steam, you said, right now?
Yeah, I believe that there's a demo right now on Steam. I don't know if it's the exact thing I played. It might be. But from what I've been told, I haven't looked at it myself because I have this, but what I've been told, there's like a thing on Steam you can get right now.
Gotcha. Cool. Zeke, I've been waiting a while to talk to you about a certain game. How is the Deadly Premonition? I know how it is. I know exactly what you're going to say because this game
Yeah.
is only one thing. But how are you? I don't know. Talk to me about Deadly Premonition. I love talking about this fucking nonsensical, ridiculous game.
Okay. Deadly Premonition is very much like it was described to me by other people as being Twin Peaks, the video game. There are obvious, painfully obvious references or homages or whatever you want to call them to Twin Peaks.
Sure.
One of the first ones is the main character you're playing starts talking to somebody named Zach. And he talks to him all the time. Zach, how do I do this? Zach, what do you think? Like that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, so that's Diane from Twin Peaks. You know, Kyle MacLachlan's like disembodied person that he keeps talking to via recorder. Diane, this town is blah, blah, blah. So he's like sending it back to FBI headquarters. And that's what that is. I was like, oh, that's obvious. Okay, cool. There's also like an equivalent of Log Lady who is called, oh God, she's called, her name is Sigourney, but she's called Roaming Sigourney, but she has this pot that basically stands in for the log. And it's fucking weird. The dialogue is a little strange, but I'm not sure if they do it on purpose, but as you're playing through the game, sometimes the graphical, I'm not sure if it's the graphical limitations that are causing these hilarious scenes to happen.
It probably was.
Or like the age of the game. It's not like super old.
It's PS3 game, I think.
Yeah, it came out in 2013, so it's only like 7 years old. Yeah, sorry, puppy cam. I'm not sure if it's the limitations of the game or they did it on purpose, but sometimes like the facial expressions that they make are just absurd.
Oh, that's on purpose. Yeah.
I think maybe, but like, just put it. Okay, one example. One of the side missions is you have to find this dumbbell for the sheriff. He lost his favorite dumbbell and he named it Arnold because he has Arnold and Sylvester. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, right?
Yep.
So you have to find his dumbbell. Once you hand it back to him, he starts pumping with his mouth open, sitting in a chair during lunchtime. He's just sitting there like, and he's talking to you, and you can see his lips moving, but they don't ever close. So he's like, like that's what you think he's gonna say. He actually, says like the voiceover lines, but he's just like so excited to have this, and shit like that happens like all the time.
I mean, this right here, this scene in particular, you're holding your breath because you're laughing too hard. Like, the whole thing is just absurd. It's just an absurd game. And now you're being choked to death. Like, it's just,
yeah. And that was a fail condition.
Yeah.
And I had to start over again.
Yeah.
But the stories, it's weird, but it's good. It's intriguing. It's hilarious at times. There's a lot. It's chock full of what the fuck moments, which I'm all about. The thing that everybody knows, I'm sure that owns this game digitally, that's bought it after it was released. It is, I had 10 hours of gameplay with nothing, no bugs, no crashes, and then immediately someone came in. I'm gonna call him out by name. A friend of mine, been a friend for a long time, 8-Bit Dylan, came into my chat and goes, how are you even playing this game? It's a buggy mess. It crashed on like all the time. And I went, I haven't had a crash, man. And not 10 minutes later, crashed. And I was like, oh, great.
He awoke the demon, basically.
Yeah.
To be fair to my friend Dylan, it wasn't his fault. This was a known crash. He just happened to pop in on the chapter where everybody
crashes.
Has crashed.
Yeah.
and it's like a game-breaking crash sometimes. The workaround, I think I might have said this, the workaround that I found was I sent the save file to somebody else who had the game, and they got past the crash point because their computer is just different than mine, I guess. Got past crash point, saved it, send the save file back to me. That's the only workaround that I
You
found
have a
that
puppy
worked.
cam?
I do. I do have a puppy cam now.
Yep. Zeke's evolved as a streamer.
People demand it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mentioned them. They're like, "Where's the puppy cam?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, all right, they're just sleeping.
It happens.
But there's been a few times like that. A few crashes that I've had to get around. I've gotten to the point where after every auto save after a chapter is done, I will take that save and replace it as the backup on my desktop. Just copy it over to my desktop so I have a good save, a non-crash, because when the save that crashes the scene that crashes the game, it corrupts the save. That's why it's
that's
why
rough.
it's so shitty.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It will not crash
Yeah.
if you save it. So after every good chapter save, I take that one, the file, and put it on my desktop so I know I have at least a good one that might be able to work around. Because there's workarounds like put it in Windows 98 compatibility mode, and sometimes that works.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like run the game as admin and put it in Windows XP Service Pack 2 compatibility mode, and then you'll keep going. Oh, okay, good. Sometimes that works. So there's a lot of like cool old game workaround shit in there. But as a whole, man, it's a great game. I'm loving it. I absolutely the driving is just superbly terrible.
Yeah.
It is so goddamn bad. And frustrating and just fucking maddening. And then you get like you can upgrade, you get like faster vehicles and more responsive vehicles and stuff. And that is so nice until you realize like the handling on it is like, it's like a Rolex watch. It's so precise. So if you try to do like an e-brake turn, you'll go like, like you have to like tiny tap it. Also, if you want to turn around, like turn a corner, you barely need to touch that stick at all because you'll just go. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
However, the gas pedal only seems to work like, it works, but there's no possible way, even with the nicest sports muscle car, that you could like skid, like make a skid, because it's like a golf cart. Every time you try and move forward from stopped, you hold down the gas and it's so if you hit a tree or an obstacle and it stops your car, every time you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
You gotta like, oh, and reverse does not go as fast as forward. Reverse is set on every vehicle to be the slowest piece of shit gear ever. So if you have to reverse,
Like 5 miles an hour, yeah.
fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Like you could have the sports car and it'll go fast, pretty like faster. But reverse is always boop, boop, boop. Oh God. Oh, and the music. Can I mention the music? Let's mention the music.
I mean, it's
I have
more
one thing to
whistling.
say. Oh my God,
Well,
dude.
that wasn't indicative at all of the majestic music that lies within Deadly Premonition. You got to
Some
really
of it's
belt it
good.
up.
Some of it's okay.
I is it
Some of
though?
it's
It's a
workable.
badly tuned sax. It's just. Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
For
The
Yeah.
sax fart song.
yeah.
You hear
That's
the-
like
you hear
their
that, like,
anxiety-inducing
smooth jazz-
music. Yeah, is this like
Yeah, you hear
weird
that-
music?
Fucking smooth jazz piano come on. It's like, what
Yeah.
in the fuck?
Yeah,
Do they get like, they're like, we need a really good piano player and someone who's never played a sax before, and maybe you have allergies. They're gonna sneeze through the sax.
It gets better. The best part is it gets so much. Like, how far are you in the game? Do you know?
How far am I? I'm on chapter 13. Wait.
Okay.
No, it's chapter 2, episode 13.
Right.
Or chapter 3, episode 13. One of those. I can't remember.
I think you're
or chapter 16,
far.
I guess. But
Yeah.
I have no idea how many chapters there are, but I'm guessing it's just going to be one more broadcast if I want to finish it without doing like side content, because there's a lot of side content, but it's very like, I love games like this, and I like the mechanic of time constrained or time scheduled events, meaning like Majora's Mask, where you can only do certain things at certain times of day, or on certain days of the week, or certain chapters and stuff. So there are mission, or there are side things you can only do if you're on a certain chapter of the story, which I'm totally fine with, especially because they let you do they let you replay chapters if you like.
Yeah.
So you can replay the chapter, save it at the end of the chapter, and then it becomes a part of your game from that point on. However, you do miss a lot of stuff if you don't like take the time to like look around and shit. So there's been like, I think I've completed like 3, maybe 4 side missions out of like the 30. I don't know how many they have.
Something sounds like that.
Because I'm not paying attention to like what chapters I'm on, and they don't give you a lot of like downtime. A lot of it is just like on rails, like story stuff. So they'll go from one day to the next without giving you like free roam time. So
yeah,
you probably have to complete a lot of side missions at like when they give you those times. Oh, and also there's conditions for certain side missions, like it has to be at night, it has to be raining, they have to randomly be at the place to meet them, because sometimes they'll randomly be at like the diner or the bar, so you can't do the mission that time. Like, fuck you, game.
Right.
But, I mean, I like that. I don't mind that. It's a nice thing to do for people who are 100% like, and they want it to be a difficult process. But it's a fun game. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
The only complaints I have are that it crashes a lot. The PC port is not great. The Switch port I heard is better, but it still has issues, frame issues, like FPS issues, and it's still like there's forums that I found that it still crashes on Switch. So it's not like it. I think it's probably less, but it still happens.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I think it also, in a lot of cases, I don't want to make excuses for the game, but it kind of fits the game that it crashes a lot. Like, it's more about like the Deadly Premonition experience of just being a shit show. Like,
oh, absolutely.
It's an experience for sure.
And there's lots of little, like this part, like you can shave in a lot of bathrooms. I still don't know why.
Yeah.
I still have no idea what shaving actually does, but I made it a thing where
I think like, that's what it does. People make it a thing.
I make sure to shave like 2 or 3 times, like every day, just cause.
Yeah.
Shave in other people's hotel rooms. Like you're in this hotel and you can walk into the room, steal some of their stuff, and shave in their bathroom.
Yeah.
So there became like this.
It's like when you break into someone's house
like,
and you make yourself a sandwich. You know, it's cool. It's a thing.
Sometimes you just gotta do it.
Do I have is this the front desk? Yeah, did someone come in my room while I was out fishing and shave with my razor in my room?
Yeah.
Because there's definitely like shaving cream and hair and stuff. Like, what's going on?
He's a serial shaver.
What a perfect voice mod for that. That was great.
I have a lot of questions, but I don't want to ask them because I forget at what point in the story that stuff is revealed or talked about. So I guess I'll wait till you finish the game to
Yeah.
ask you those hard hitting questions about Deadly Premonition lore.
Yeah, there's this is a game, and I haven't spoiled anything.
It's impossible to it be like, yeah, it's so ridiculous that you say one thing and you're like, well, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? So it's hard to.
Yeah, but it's been fun. It's been a blast. I think I'm pretty close. I think I'll probably be beating the game. I'm not playing it tomorrow, but I will be playing it on Friday at noon. So noon Pacific. So if you want to see the ending of it, that's probably when it's going to happen, because I don't think there's too terribly much more left in the game.
Cool. I'm glad that you're playing it. Are you gonna play the second one now? Whenever that, I think
absolutely.
that comes out. What is that? October? I forgot when that actually launches. I think it has a launch date on it though. It's sometime this fall.
Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, July 10th.
Oh, that's sooner
that was
than
the
I
initial
thought.
release date. Maybe it's.
Well, that sounds right.
Okay, it says initial release date. Yeah.
Yeah, July 10th. Sooner than I thought, for sure. Trying to see.
I'm totally playing that. Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Wow, we haven't the last. Jesus, I didn't realize it had been that long. Cohh, we both played Mortal Kombat. We can talk about that for 5 minutes if you want. Did you enjoy I think we both did sponsored streams for it, so we should probably preface that first off. But
And went back and finished it.
yeah, so did I. I went back the next day and finished the story as well. Did you get both endings without saying what they were?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Mortal Kombat's that game where I just wish I was good at fighting games.
What difficulty did you play it on?
Oh, I put it on like stupid dumb easy because I knew that I would get to a point in that game where I would just the realization that I'm bad at fighting games would come into play. Not necessarily a realization, but I guess the chat's realization of that I wanted to keep them in the dark and make them think that I actually knew what I was doing. So it was on very easy. And I looked really good until they realized that I was really bad.
Dude, I played it on medium.
Oh God.
Here's the thing they don't tell you though. Here's the thing they don't tell you. So medium, I bet you would have done fine on it. It's for people that understand the difference between the attack buttons, and you know that a block button exists.
I don't know.
Like
that,
it's okay. But here's the thing. What they don't tell you is the difference between medium and hard is like, oh cool, I think I can identify this as a racing game instead of a driving game. To I have mastered every mechanic this game has to offer. That is the difficulty difference between medium and hard in this game. It was insane. Like I would get like a perfect on medium, and then I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Let's do the next one on hard. Yeah. 15 straight losses later, including multiple times the enemy has perfect me. It's just kind of like, what is going on here? Like, what? How is it this? I need a very medium.
Yeah, sure. I get that. What was it? One of the
like
later boss fights
dude.
though, or was it like still early game?
It was anywhere. Like I think I beat one match on hard. It was insane because like there's so many little mechanics in this game, like combo canceling and using your unblockable moves and fundamentally understanding like the range of your attacks and stuff. And not only that, but medium, the computer is like sometimes attacks you, but on hard, it's like the second you throw a move, they just grab your hand out of the air and they're like, oh yeah, funny. And then like break your arm and then do like 2 unblockables, then jump you into a combo. It's oh my lord, dude. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it's the difference between like, yeah, this is great, and I don't like this game. Because it's just oh wow. But anyway, it was so much fun. And even, like every time I would fail horribly on hard, I would just go back to medium and continue along. And this game still to this day, it does such a unique and fun thing between like awesome cutscene right into gameplay.
Yeah.
And then the second the gameplay is done, like right back into awesome cutscene. And it just never stops. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going until the end. And yeah, it's really
Yeah, I had to go through and see every single friendship and fatality and all that stuff. So,
Oh, that was actually the new guy. Yeah, dude, I loved saying Shang Tsung. Like, it was so cool to see him back. And I
yeah,
loved how in every scene he just had this little tiny wry half smile, making him the smuggest character that has ever been in any video game to date.
yep.
Oh, dude,
And he
it was
says
so much fun. It was just a great time.
he says like every well-known voice line from the movie as well, in almost every
Oh
cutscene.
yeah,
And you're just like, these
yeah.
motherfuckers know exactly what they're doing.
Say your soul is mine. Say your soul is mine.
Yeah.
Say your soul is mine.
Yeah, he said yes. He delivers that line with the Shang Tsung panache. So yeah, I had a blast playing it. It was the second. I think I did a sponsor stream for the first time, or the first the initial launch of the game. But it's always the type of thing where like I'll play the game, I'll be like, man, this game's pretty fun. I'll go online, I'll fight one guy and be like, all right, well, let's move on to the next game. Let me go and uninstall real quick. Never touch another fighting game until there's a single player in it. Because, man, I'm bad at them. But the single player's approachable. Like I said, if you put on easy enough difficulty, the cutscenes are worth it. Although, it's pretty expensive. The DLC was $40, or is $40. I don't know if it's been discounted since then. But it was... I think I took about 4 or 5 hours with the story stuff. Do you know how long you took with it, Cohh? Was that probably about the same? I think it was about 4 or 5 hours.
It was, yeah. That's actually the biggest issue I had with it was the length.
Yeah.
Now it is important to mention that, it introduces new characters. People that like the game will get a lot more time out of it than I did, and I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
But and they added a bunch of new fun. But at the end of the day, like the way that I played it, the price was way overblown.
Yeah.
So for the amount that I got out of it. So yeah, it's the value just isn't quite there for people that, unfortunately, I feel like one of the coolest parts of it is just the story mode itself. But then, unless you're really planning on kind of taking a little bit further, it's definitely a sales situation.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And that was Mortal Kombat 11. That was 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. And then I also played, did we talk about Xenoblade Chronicles at all?
I want to hear this, because I've been convinced to play it, and it was actually in your chat that I realized I thought it was the wrong game.
Yeah, you thought it was Xenoblade Chronicles.
I thought it was
X or whatever, right?
Yeah, I thought it was the one with Tatsu and the 1, 2, 3, 4, the one that I just put down because I just couldn't do it anymore. I thought it was the first one to that.
Yeah.
So I was in your chat and people were like, "Cohh, you what are you talking about? You beat the second game. Like you liked it. You finished it. And you said it was a good time." And I was like, "Big red boo?" And they're like, "Yes, that one, Cohh." And I said, "Oh, okay, well, maybe we'll check it out."
Yeah. I'm trying to find the VOD. Sorry, I fucking hate this new system still. All right, so I have to try to not show. Okay, this is just. Nope, that would be spoiler stuff. The game's obviously a JRPG. Yeah, JRPG, so it's very story focused. I think this is a good point here. So this is a remastered of the original Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which
Did you beat it?
I did not beat the remastered. I have beaten it the original version, which I played not on the Wii U, but on a third-party system in 4K, and it actually looked better than the remaster. Funny enough, because it was 4K and not whatever it renders on the Switch. But I've played and beaten it before, and yeah, I mean it's a JRPG. It's your standard 90-hour plus thing. The big, I think the big like takeaway or the big pitch on this is the world, and the world building is really well done. It's essentially a single player MMO in terms of how it functions. There are rare spawns. There are quests to kill the rare spawns. The rare spawns have certain triggers. You have to be at a certain place at a certain time and do certain things to have those things pop. There's also like exploration in all of the world zones. After I get out of this fight, I'll probably hopefully show a little bit of the world, but they're like stupidly massive. And just like in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it has that thing where you're walking around in like your level zone, a level 10 zone, and then there's a random level 80 mob that's like 20 stories
Oh, I
high.
love that stuff, man.
Yeah, and that type of stuff is really, really cool. And I like that a lot.
Also, I'd like to say I like that you're playing Xenoblade Baywatch Edition.
Well, so that's one of the new things in the definitive version is that there's transmog. And so you can put whatever you want on your characters and it'll always take that look compared to the normal armor. And one of the not necessarily issues, but there's so much armor and there's so much variety in the look is that a lot of times you would just look like you went to a thrift store and just picked out random pieces of armor. Looked real dumb walking around. So it's nice that they put like the transmog system in so you can actually make your character look however you want to. I went with the Baywatch edition, as Cohh said so eloquently. So no one had shirts on, and if you did, it was like a bikini top. So that's how it goes. And it also saves them in the cutscenes, which is really great because there's a lot of drama in this game, and it's just made better when your character looks like he just got off of the beach lifting some weights. So yeah, apart from that, it's your standard JRPG fare. The story is very good. It is very JRPG, but the basis is two giants, Bionis and Mecha, fought, and that's kind of how the world was started. And eventually there was kind of a stalemate, so they're locked in kind of this combat position where one sword is going through the other and the other sword is something. And that's like the world. So in this particular area, I think I'm on his like knee or something on one of the giants. And throughout the game, you kind of traverse everything, or their entire body part. I think you start in like the ankle of one of the things. And so they're stupidly massive. You can kind of see how big the world here is in the background, and that's all stuff that you can kind of go to. So that's the short, quick pitch on that. A lot of side quests, and it's very easy to also get over leveled in the game, which can sometimes dampen the big boss fights. But there are a couple of boss fights later on that are just like giant difficulty spikes in your standard JRPG fare. But yeah, I thought it was a fine remastered. It runs, the FPS wise, it runs fine. I think resolution, I think it's 720p. So it's a little bit low on the resolution. I think undocked, it goes down to like 540p. So if you're one to play it kind of on the go, it's not going to be the most attractive looking game. But the art carries it for sure. So it's good. And there's also, as Chat's pointing out, there's an expert mode that kind of does what happened in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where you decide when you want to apply the XP to your characters. If you remember that thing, so you can kind of not necessarily level up unless you want to. So you can get to certain boss fights. And if you find yourself having a hard time, you can go and like actually level up and rest and all that stuff. Or you can just leave it on the normal thing and just level up as you get XP. So it's really up to you how you want to approach that stuff. I think a lot of people do play it on expert mode because it does get so easy. But yeah, that's Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Or Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition, I think is the full version. Very similar to 2.
Very cool, man. Did you already say what made you like want to pick it up?
I played the original, so I wanted to see. Or I played the original release of it in 2010 or whenever that was, 2011.
Right.
A long time ago. So it's also less. I don't want to say less anime, but it's less. How do I say it? I don't know enough about anime to say like it's less this type of anime and more that type of anime. There's less fan service in it, I guess is what I would say. In Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there's like ways that you fight where there's a girl that's just in a bath, like not wearing any clothes, and she's like the strongest fighter or one of them. I think, was that Petra? No, that Petra was one of the like main characters. I guess fan service is what I would say. And the other thing that's maybe unfortunate about it is there's a lot of repeat dialogue. There's a character in there that says it's rhyme time about every 5 seconds. So if you forget what time it is, he'll be very quick to remind you very quickly over and over and over. Luckily, there's volume.
So you guys want to get some lunch? I mean, it's almost rhyme time.
Yeah.
And I got to be there for that. I have a hard out at rhyme time.
It's Ryan time.
So if we're getting lunch, it's gonna have to be quick.
It's Ryan time though. It's Ryan time. But that stuff, like I said, has a volume slider on it, so that's good. But let's talk a little bit about Raft. You mentioned it here at the start. I want to see what the end game looks like of this. Should I go to today's VOD to see that?
Towards the end of today's VOD, you could probably see like I did a rebuild of the Raft, so you can kind of get an idea what it's looking like now.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, Raft is a really cool game. It's kind of a spin on the normal survival, where you basically start the game on a floating raft, and you kind of need to figure out what the hell. Oh no, this part. So yeah, this was okay. So little thing I learned, by the way. Turns out if you die in this game, you just lose everything on your character, which for me was, oh good, it's not that part. This is early in the thing. Okay, great. Is really, really rough.
Cohh, are you gonna kill that thing?
Yeah, I did not know that's how it worked. So I actually was kind of like messing around, and someone had told me in the chat earlier that when you died, or a couple days ago, that when you died, you just dropped all your stuff. So I was kind of messing around, but yeah, it set me back a long time, and I spent like the last half hour of the stream, just like basically like trying to recoup everything. But anyway, Raft is a very, very cool game. So the premise is that you're basically on an endless ocean, a procedurally generated ocean. There's trash and stuff floating around everywhere, and you have to kind of scrounge it together and start building out your raft. You have kind of this ever-present enemy in the form of a shark who is constantly trying to rip your raft apart and attack you if you're in the water. And you float around, slowly building your raft, working your way through the tech levels as you find different ways to use different resources you get. You eventually start coming to small islands that you just kind of like have to paddle yourself over to. You explore them, find different ways to utilize the resources you get there to keep on moving. And then eventually you get to the point where you can start like constructing actual like navigation equipment. And that's when the game really starts getting interesting, because at that point you are tuning into frequencies, and you're going to where people like used to be, and you start getting lore on why the world is in the state that it's in, and you get new coordinates to go to, and you push those into your navigation, and then you find derelict areas that there clearly used to be life in, and that points you to new areas. And what's also really fun is I just got to the point where I didn't even realize this was a thing. For the entire first half of the game, you're finding smaller islands that have like little bits on them, and little few trees and some underwater areas. Well, apparently, you get to a point in the game where you start finding like big islands. Like this was the first time I actually found like an animal. So, I have this little pen for it. I'm growing grass. I get wool off of it. There's other animals you can capture, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, if you look right now, if you look on the ground, there's like there's small blocks.
Yeah.
You start this game with pretty much nothing on a 2x2 raft. And everything you see on this raft that I'm doing now has since been like built up and worked on slowly over time to get to where it is. So now I have like fully functional farms. I've got like 5 furnaces, a huge collection net. I'm adding engines on the back. I've got a nest up there with navigation equipment, a sail, a fully functional radar, all sorts of stuff. And it's gotten to be really big. It's gotten to be really cool. And it is definitely a game that I am absolutely loving playing right now. It's the kind of thing where, I have Last of Us 2 tomorrow that I'm going to be playing. And it's kind of like, yeah, I'm giving a full day to Last of Us 2, but maybe as early as Friday, I'll jump back into Raft in the afternoon. Like it's really, really fun. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting show next week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a hard recommend for me for people that like survival games. And apparently it's not even done. So like right now, there's not really an ending yet. They're talking about releasing a chapter 2 at some point later this year, which is going to put even more cool stuff in.
Dang.
So yeah, I've got a long way to go. I'm just getting to like the nearish to the final kind of stuff you can do in this, from what I understand. But I still have a lot to build, a lot to research, a lot to harvest, and it's just been an absolute joy.
Yeah. You're playing it single player. I know that it has multiplayer, because I know a lot of people have had a lot of fun with the multiplayer, and it works pretty well. So if you're at all curious about that aspect of it, definitely check it out if you're looking for a multiplayer game. Difficulty wise, are sharks still like the big bad? Because I don't remember
Sharks
them being
are the big
hard.
bad. I have gotten to the point in the game where there are definitely other things. I did not die to a shark today. It was my first death in the game. in 20-ish plus hours, I think, 15 to 20 hours.
Interesting.
There are a lot more threats that come that are difficult to deal with. The thing about sharks, though, is it's the kind of thing where a shark will look at you and a shark will charge at you. And the second the shark opens its mouth, if you do your spear, it won't hit you, won't damage you. So, like if you get the timing down right and you pay attention, then sharks will not damage you. Of course, it's a very small window and you have to get it right every time. But, there's ways to deal with all the threats. Yeah, I was going to talk about the other enemies, but honestly, it's more fun if you kind of find them out for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I just like the sins. The thing about sharks is, but yeah, I remember the sharks being a motherfucker to deal with, at least in the initial stuff here. The game's pretty cheap, right? It's like, is it $20, $15, something like that?
It's not bad. I already owned it. Because I actually played it a long time ago, and where my first playthrough ended is like where the game starts this time, which is really cool. But yeah, I think you can get Raft right now on Steam for $20.
There you go. $20. Yeah. It's definitely worth checking out. It's still in early access though, right? Like they're still classifying it as that? Okay, cool. Yeah. I know they've been
Oh, and for the record,
for
I just looked up the price, and there is a $5 game called Survive on Raft. It is not that game. The game we're talking about right now is just Raft.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, this is like a complete rip-off of Raft. Like 100% rip-off.
It's the mobile storification of Steam is starting, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what we're seeing there. Yeah.
Anyway.
You mentioned Last of Us. I guess we can... Zeke, are you streaming your Last of Us 2 playthrough? Or are you going to do that off stream?
I think I'm probably going to do it off stream.
Okay. Are you going to have it done by next week? You think? Next Wednesday?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay. Because I kind of want to...
supposed to be 25-ish hours.
Yeah, 25 to 30-ish hours is what it's supposed to be for a, quote, normal playthrough. But I do want to talk about it in full, but maybe not a full spoiler cast or something next week. It'll be a weird show if, like, I would suspect that me and Cohh have finished it by now. I would suspect Zeke, especially if you're not streaming it, you might not have finished it. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm planning on doing a pretty thorough playthrough, and I've been warned that may take longer. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll definitely talk about it in some form next week.
Well, I'm just gonna let you know this, JP and Cohh. I will not be rushing this.
Well, I'm not saying
take your time, of course.
Yeah.
Course.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see
Wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love this. This is such a great comment. You see the last comment in your stream there, JP?
Yeah. I don't know why we should give it any comment though.
Why is Zeke part of this show?
Or we can read it out loud in full. Give that guy
I love it, man. I love that shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. God damn.
Let's just give him the attention he wants. Sure. There you go.
It's all right. I don't mind. I'll feed the trolls. Okay.
Yeah, but it's in my
don't have
chat. That's what I don't like. Don't feed the trolls in my chat.
Right. Okay. Okay.
If it was
Sorry,
your
it was just
chat.
hilarious. It was hilarious, and I have an answer, but I'll let it go.
Okay. All right. There you go. JP just wants to spoil everything. No, it's the type of thing where I'll want to talk about it and not being able to talk about it is going to be really shitty. So
there's going to be a lot to talk about with Last of Us 2.
Yeah, if the reviews
I don't even know what I'm getting into, and it's so clear by the comments on the reviews, the type of reviews that some big streamers and YouTubers have been giving. Like there's going to be a lot to talk about with this game.
Yeah.
I haven't even played it, and I think most of us already know that.
Yeah, I think so as well. We'll probably, if anything, devote like an actual like special version of the show or something to it, maybe down the line. Definitely a spoiler cast of some sort, whether it's a segment or a full-blown show. We'll see how that goes. So look for that in the future. I think we're all very much looking forward to playing it, though, regardless. I finally replayed that game this week after 7 years of not playing it. And it was hilarious replaying it because that entire game is, oh, fuck, I hate this part. And then you got there, it's like, that part was pretty good. Oh, fuck, this part sucks. Oh, okay, that part was... Oh, no, I hate this part. This is the worst part. It was just that for 12 hours. which is essentially The Last of Us. And I've watched multiple people play it for the first time this week, and they've done the same thing as well. Strippin's playthrough is especially fun to watch because he's making all the same. It's one of those self-affirming things where he's making all the same mistakes I did with a lot of the random encounters. If you remember the generator encounter in the elevator area.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that in particular.
Oh, yes.
Was just a pain in the ass. So.
I remember when I did my grounded playthrough the first time, I'm pretty sure that area took me over 45 minutes. And this is a sequence when you do it properly, it lasts about 4 minutes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
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 Oh, God.
So, yeah. Zeke, besides Deadly Premonition, what else have you been playing on your channel?
Well, I did a couple of indie days.
Yeah.
I checked out it was a shorter stream, but I checked out the bundle for the itch bundle for racial justice and equality.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should
something game like for $5.
Yeah, we should mention that that is now over. There's another one. I think Humble Bundle is doing one now where it's a $30 base buy-in. They ended up raising like what 8.2 million or something like that on the itch.io bundle. 8.1 million, something like that. So they raised a shit ton of money for that.
Yep, 8.173 million. Their $5 million goal, but I've never seen a bundle that was worth it like that. Like what 14, you get for your money.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, a lot of nonsense. Yeah. Did you find any unknown gems in the 1,400 games during your stream? I didn't look to see how many games you actually got to.
I played every one of them, and no, obviously. Let me see here.
I'm just gonna kind of browse through the VOD here because it was the type of thing where I don't think you were even labeling it because there were so many.
Oh no, someone told me to start labeling it and I did.
Oh, okay. We didn't change. You're saying in the top left?
Yeah, top left. Yep.
Gotcha.
I just left it on games and demos, but I did start putting in the text up in the top left. There it is. Yeah. So this game was actually pretty cool. A short hike. It's the age level for the game is probably not like appropriate for me. It's probably like for younger, I would say younger kids. But it was cool everything functioned properly. It was colorful and bright. Controls were great. They give you stuff to do. So you talk to everyone. They say like, oh, I could use this. Could you go find them for me? They give you like things that last throughout. Like you have to collect 25 shells, but they're like scattered all over. So you go, on your whatever quest you're currently on, you just kind of pick those up and go. It's very, it gave me a very like Zelda, like a Zelda light kind of a feel to it, where you had to pick up like power ups and stuff to get to certain places. Like you have to pick up a golden feather in order to like get a kind of a double jump kind of a thing. And the more you pick up, the higher you can. The golden feather also lets you climb. So if it's like this is a 3 feather cliff. And you only have 2, so you can only get like 2/3 of the way up and stuff. So you have to find the other feathers, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
It's charming. I can't really say a whole bunch about all of these games because I gave them each like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's so many. On. Yeah. No, I understand that. That's why I was just gonna kind of run around through them all. Tonight We Riot. You're quick.
Yeah, Tonight We Riot. This was a just like a pixelated kind of beat 'em up ish kind of a thing. I don't know. This one was kind of funky as far as how because you get a melee, but then eventually you start using like cinder blocks and molotovs and stuff. And as far as how you aim them, it was kind of funky to me. How you start aiming things like with a controller. And you also here's my example right here. Is that I'm trying to aim it, like, it says aim with right stick and use your trigger to throw, right? So I'm trying to get it, and it's like going underneath them.
Oh, so the elevation is not necessarily apparent?
I guess you have to be like, I think there's an auto lock or something that I was missing or something.
I see.
Because I'm
what you're
not
saying,
like
yeah.
I'm trying to aim with the stick and they're not hitting the thing. So I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
you eventually kind of get it, and they kind of sort of lock on to the enemies that are on the screen at the time. There you see. I don't know what I did, but
Yeah.
I eventually got it. But it's a fun little pixelated beat 'em up.
Sorry, I didn't realize this was still open. I guess they reopened the Black Lives Matter support bundle, or is this a different thing? I'm trying to read what I'm looking at here, but failing to do so.
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking at the thing that I bought and said this bundle ended yesterday at 12:59 a.m.
Okay, this might be a different bundle then, maybe. Yeah, this one is. I think this is different. This is $20 on itch.io.
Okay.
I'll just kind of skip. Whoa, that's a lot going on here. Hidden Folks. Is this a
Yep,
Where's Waldo situation?
exactly. It's
That's what I was
exactly
just
what it
wondering.
is. Yeah. The main difference is, or the main standout things in this is all the sound effects are, you can tell they're voiced by someone's mouth. So like you rustle a bush and it goes. So it's like all like, you drop you look in the water and you hear the sploosh or something like that. Like it's all like just human made sound effects. That was a pretty funny standout for this game. But yeah, it's basically just hidden object kind of a game. You have to like spread the bushes or flip up the flap on a tent and that kind of stuff to find like all these items. I mean, yeah, it's charming, fun.
For what it's worth,
I'm
a bunch of people in chat saying this was they've seen other people. Easy Allies has played this, and a bunch of people themselves have played it as well and enjoyed Hidden Folks. If you're at all interested. Oh God, Basket Bell.
Oh,
Wait, is this the game?
This is Basketball. This is a.
How is this like 24 FPS? That's such a cool look, but I don't know like how they're doing that. I've never seen a game look like that that's playable. Anyway, sorry. Please tell me about Basketball.
Basketball is it's deceptively difficult. You start off by there's an underlying story to this. So you're not just trying to score baskets or anything. There is a story going on, and like certain things, like one of your first trials is like this amorphous blob thing that blocks your basketball shots and stuff like that. But it's like it's symbolic and it represents other things. You get there's a really touching story going on. It's made by a friend of mine, one Mr. Bean, who made Choice Chamber and made I'm drawing a blank on the other one, but it's there's like 3 controls in the game. Like there's a direction, there's a jump and a shoot, and that's about it. But it's got a lot of style to it. That's the main takeaway that I got from this is like the style is very specific and I like it.
Well, yeah, it's definitely got a look. That was what I was saying. It's like weird simulated 24 FPS.
Sound Dodger, thank you.
Yeah,
that was the other one.
Weird looking game. How many games in total did you play? Here's Test Tube Titans.
I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 of them.
What have we covered the like best one out of that?
Let me see.
In your estimation?
No, there's this one. This one was probably my favorite because it's
God.
so jank, but it's fucking hilarious. It's called Babysitter Bloodbath. The controls are very Resident Evil, like tanky, terrible controls, and it looks like garbage.
Is that AI? What is that?
Yeah, he's running around. You have to find. He's running around. You're a babysitter, and you have to find the remote control to get the TV on. So he'll sit down because he'll run around. He runs around until you find that fucking remote control. But it's like you know, it's got that grainy VHS kind of like thing, you know, look to it, and it's jank, but it's fucking hilarious. I had a lot of fun laughing and playing along with it. So eventually, like it's a horror game. So eventually, I didn't get to the part where the murderer actually comes, but they do call you, and it's like you're gonna die, blah, 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 whatever. You make a phone call, and then it's I don't know what else to say about it.
Okay.
It was funny. It's jank, and it was like among the 1,000 of the other games.
Yeah, 1,400 or so games with like 13 or like
Looks like that old
things.
game Alone in the Dark.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, well, in terms of the camera angles, I think is what you're saying from.
Yeah, and the kind of blocky texture. Oh, it's great, dude.
Yeah. How was?
Oh, there's a great website too. If you bought that bundle,
Yeah. Does it rank them or
there's a
something?
great website called randombundlegame.com, and it helps you sort out all the games you have purchased.
So how does it work? When you bought that, did you just get a flat download link, or did you get like access to a cloud host, or like how do you handle 1,400 games to download? Is there like an itch.io client, or what does that look like?
Yeah, well, they just take you to their itch page,
Oh,
and it's marked as purchased.
gotcha.
If you want to play the game, you just download it.
Gotcha.
Play it on your PC.
Okay.
Just with no like Steam launcher or GOG launcher or anything like that. It's just they give you the game files.
You have to download one at a time.
It's
Gotcha.
a cool looking UI, man.
Yeah. What is going on in Nog? What is this?
Gnog, this was a
Gnog.
very cool puzzle game. Well, basically you get like it's level based, so you get a level. This one happened to be a stereo level, and you have to figure out how to not only how to solve the puzzle, but what the puzzle actually is. Meaning, I got all this stuff, and I'm like, what do I have to do? And then you look for clues within the game and stuff like that. It has physical things to grab. Like there's a pull tab, and you pull the tab, and you flip up the case. You see how like the top of the stereo that we're looking at right now has kind of like, it looks like a flap. That flap was down, so like you have to physically like drag the mouse and flip the flap up to see what's underneath it. It has some of that element too, but it has also like you have to notice like, oh, in the background there's these treble clef lines, and like, okay, what does that have to do with anything? And the music and the OST and the look of it is fantastic. It's not like super brain bustery, but it's clever enough that I struggled at a couple of parts.
Okay.
Like, it looks like this, and then you have to do this. What the fuck am I missing? Well, one of the things I was missing was that I'm going to spoil this one.
Oh.
There are not just 2 slots on the side for those little plugins, not 2 jacks. There's actually 3. And I kept going past the middle one because the mouse sensitivity on this game is pretty goddamn high. Have you ever played a game with that you have to like turn something and the mouse sensitivity is really high? And you like go just weird. A little bit and it goes so like goes super fast.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of what this is. Like I would kept going to the bottom one and skipping the middle one because the mouse sensitivity was so high.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean this is a fucking wonderful puzzle game that I could definitely see playing on mobile. I don't know if it's on mobile, but it'd be a great mobile game.
Cool. Yeah, it seems like you could probably get 2 or 3 Indie Sundays out of this. Are you going to do one for that Humble Bundle package?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at it yet.
Okay. I think it's $30 buy-in for that, and it's, I don't know, like 1,000 games or some crazy number. That, you know, great way to raise money for sure and get.
I love this fucking trend, man.
Yeah, and get a shit ton of stuff out of that for sure. I would say if you're at all interested in any of those, go check out Zeke's VOD because we covered like 4 games out of 15 there. And once again, what was that website that you said for people looking that like ranks them or whatever?
It was randombundlegame.com, and you can browse the games that because there's not only games, but there's toolkits, comics, soundtracks, game assets, books. There's RPG like rule books and shit, like tabletop rule books and shit. Like you get the,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you get like the PDF file and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not only games. There's a whole bunch of shit.
Cool. Also, clarification, as Chad had pointed out, it's $1,200 worth of games, not 1,200 games. Apparently, it's like 30 to 40 games, or 30 games and 20 ebooks from the Humble Bundle stuff. Is where that is. So,
Blades in the Dark is in there. Nice.
Yeah, I saw Blades is in the itch.io bundle. Someone pointed that out as well. What time is it? Probably got about 10 minutes left. Shorter show because I have to dip for the sponsored stream, so it's on me. But we'll, have more to talk about next week as well. I do want to mention Onward. Are you done with this DLC play? Outward, not Onward. Onward's a different game.
Yes.
I think I did the same thing the last time we talked about this. Outward, how is it? How was it?
Yes. So the Outward DLC came out yesterday. The devs were super cool and gave it to me a little bit early. And the Outward DLC is essentially, so if you have the base game of Outward, which is a really great open world RPG, there's 3 main factions you can join. And those factions, when you join one, that becomes the kind of your main quest for that playthrough. The Outward DLC, the Soroborians, adds a 4th main quest line. It is an entire new map, a whole new faction to work with, new items, new weapons, an entire new weapon type, the fist line. It also does 2 new skill trees, which are kind of, you use 3 skill trees to kind of make your character. And there's a new skill line for kind of melee called the Speedster. There's a new skill line for mages called the Hex Mage, I believe. And there's also a new enchantment system. And then this also adds in like this new kind of dungeon mechanic, which is really cool. So I ended up playing the entire thing, beginning to end, and absolutely loved it. If you like the base game of Outward, it is basically a lot more of that. The new dungeon mechanic is awesome. Essentially, there's like these major zones that you kind of connect through this mechanic at the bottom, so you can travel through these like large, big dungeons with some little puzzle elements as well. There's a bunch of new bosses. There's a bunch of new things to do, things to see. And I made the new weapon type, the new fist weapons, which I really liked. They were a lot of fun, kind of changed the way the game played because you really have to get kind of up close and personal with the enemies, which was really cool. And yeah, I loved it, man. Beginning to end it in almost like just one game and or one kind of, not one session, but without playing pretty much any other games. I just kind of went right through the whole thing in multiple days, and it was a great time. It was a really, really good time. I didn't even get to scratch the enchantment system though. They definitely make the enchantment system a little bit off the beaten path. It's not something that kind of you can do. Like basically you put down an enchantment table and then you have to make these incense, and then you have to figure out where to put these enchanting pillars, and then you put the incense in there, and then I think you enchant the weapons. And it has to be like, some enchantments can only be done in certain places of the world on certain equipments during certain weather. It's really wild. So I kind of got done with most of the content before I even got a chance to really dive in, before I had all the materials I needed to kind of do the ones I wanted. So I'm guessing that they're pretty strong. I'm looking forward as other people play with them to kind of see what they actually do, because there are tons of them. And some enchantments can only be used for like a certain weapon, like one weapon made out of one material. Like one enchantment was called like the Unexpected Power enchantment. You can only use that on like low level iron weapons. So there's all sorts of fun stuff in there. And had a great time with it. It is $20, but to be honest, it almost adds about $20 worth of content. I mean, I would pretty much say that the new dungeon is huge. New weapon and skill lines are super useful, based on if you kind of go a magic or melee run. And the new dungeon, I thought we were going to get like a few little side dungeons. It is a large, sprawling complex worth of dungeons. Basically, you have to like explore through the ruins of an old civilization, and it like breaks it up into 6 or 7 big levels and multiple bosses, and it's big.
Does it still have that like half voice acted line thing that I remembered?
Yes, it does.
Huh.
Good God, it's annoying.
Yeah, well, that's a weird. I mean, I guess it's not necessarily. It's definitely worse for streaming, whereas if you were just playing it solo and you didn't have to like read that stuff out loud, I could see how that would be fine. But yeah, I remember that was a big.
It's
weird
really,
thing.
really annoying.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping in the DLC they would have kind of done away with that, but they kept it going right through from base game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a money saving solution there, where you don't have to have every voice line acted for sure. And if I recall, there's a pretty healthy amount of of text in the game, right? In terms of like quest and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. The game is very much focused on the open world aspect part of it. So the only time you're really going to be doing any kind of NPC interaction is if you're in the main town, which there's one of in the DLC, or if you're dealing with NPCs related to main quests from the main town. But the game really does shine in kind of its go where you want, do what you want kind of gameplay, which doesn't involve a lot of NPCs or talking.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Zeke, did you ever? I forget. Did you ever check out this game? I know I never played it. It's
No, I never did.
Yeah, most of the playthroughs that I saw this were all co-op, because the co-op is pretty well done in it, and I remember the game also was like pretty difficult, at least in the co-op. I don't know if that's similar in single player or if it just has like a difficulty learning curve ramp.
Oh, the game is brutally difficult.
Okay, it's still there.
Like and it's not only brutally difficult, but especially when you're playing it solo. One particular encounter towards the end, like there's these two kind of dog golems, which are difficult on their own, and then one like big golem that looks kind of like a ballerina with these big swords. And there was, I think it was deeper in the dungeon, and I had to fight my way down to it each time. And these guys, one of them would knock you down, and the other two would kill you before you stood up. I mean, and this happened like multiple times. Like it's definitely one of those games where it's like it is a brutal experience. As the devs planned, and as is kind of a pull of the game, you are not a hero in this game. You are just a dude, and you really kind of need to like fight tooth and nail to get to a point where things are kind of like easy. The game does get a lot easier, and there are certain skills and builds that do make the game significantly easier later. But especially at the beginning, like you will not be taking on packs of enemies in this game. They will surround you and they will destroy you.
Yeah.
Regularly.
Makes sense. Cool. DLC is not out, or is it out this week? When it launched?
It came out yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, cool. Yeah, yesterday was Tuesday, so that makes sense. And what is the name of it one more time so people are aware? Outward with the expansion.
It is Outwards the Soroborian.
Soroborians. Okay.
Soroborians, and the Soroborians are kind of like what the kind of scholars of the world.
Gotcha. Cool. We should probably call it there. I don't want to get too close to the 3 p.m. time and mess up the sponsored thing. So I think we'll call it there. Zeke, I think we owe like, or not owe. We need to do like 3 indie Sundays next episode. We're gonna have some indie stuff to talk about for sure.
we got lots of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, why am I here?
I guess we might as well entitle the
VOD. We ask that
why am I here?
to ourselves every single week.
Yeah. Why are any of us here?
No, specifically why is Zeke on the show?
Why is Zeke? Oh, we asked that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were being philosophical about it. I get it.
Hey, I can make an essay, dude. I'll have it ready for you. How many words? 1,500, 2,000 words by next Wednesday? Why I need to be here, why you want me here, why you need me here.
I'd much rather talk about Last of Us than have you read your essay. So focus on Last of Us, and then maybe we'll get to the essay. The essay of the future. That's a future Zeke problem, or not future Zeke task homework.
Yeah,
let's go with that. How about the present day task, Zeke? Do some shout outs for us.
Sounds good. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for watching. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at /Ezekiel_I just like that on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow, subscribe, like, do all the things. I won't be broadcasting after this because I am a guest star on a tabletop role-playing show, and I never know when I'm going to be on. So I usually take Wednesdays off after this now. Or after Drop Frames, I take the rest of the day off, or I play a tabletop game. But I will be back tomorrow, Thursday, noon. Starting the day off with it's going to be a fucking fun, I can just tell. Sponsor stream of Detroit Become Human, new Twitch integration stuff. So maybe you get to make all the bad choices, and I get to be free of blame.
Oh, boy.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's what's happening on Thursday. And then after that, obviously, we're going to be doing the Drop Frames EA conference coverage. But if you want to see the end of Deadly Premonition, that'll be happening on Friday at noon. So that's what's coming up for me. Thanks for watching.
Awesome stuff. Cohh, do some shout outs.
Hey guys, my name is Cohh. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Big thank you to JP and Zeke. Also, if you're one of the people that were at the charity stream a few days ago, thank you again for that. It was amazing. I am going to be on tomorrow at 8 a.m. ET with The Last of Us 2. We are getting it a day early. Hope to see you there. If you're not, I fully understand. Also, I will be probably diving back into Raft at some point this weekend, and we've got our first raids in EverQuest this evening as well. So lots of stuff coming down the pipeline. But anyway, as always, thank you guys for being here. Hope to see you next week. And, well, have a great rest of your week.
We didn't talk about it. Are you playing PoE? Have you made a call yet? Are you skipping
No,
this week?
I've got too much other stuff, man.
Okay.
I've got too much other stuff going on.
I don't.
Are you?
I don't know. I don't. I have not decided yet. I've got
Dude,
some time.
I loved that response by the PoE guys.
Yeah,
on
man,
Twitter.
they fucking called me out on Twitter, those assholes. That was 100% Bex. There's no other person.
Oh, you know it was. You
Yeah.
know it was.
Yeah. For context, I tweeted out that I want to focus on Last of Us right now, but I might do split streams. And then Path of Exile tweeted me and said that they were upset or something like that. Or no, it was like they were looking through the window.
Responded with the little like looking through the blinds. Like,
Yeah. So fucking assholes. So I might check it out. I might not. I'm definitely interested to see how the league goes. And it sounds like it's going to be a pretty fun.
huge crafting league apparently.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It should be a big one. Be a big one.
It seems like the hardcore race is going to be fun to watch too, because I think they're giving away an Alienware PC or something, so it'll push the professional runners to push that boss and see what that looks like. So should be a fun next week. I'll at least check it out. If I don't on stream, I'll check it out off stream and probably talk about it next week at some length. So we'll have that. But for now, we got to get out of here because I got to go do a sponsored stream. Thanks. I gotta go. It's gonna be a real hard stream. I have to watch Star Trek. I know. It's gonna be tough.
Tough, man. Drink lots of water.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some water and yeah. It's gonna be hard. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how anyone does it. It's just such a tough job. That's it. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back next week. Also, we'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the EA Play event, and we'll all be disappointed together. Yay! We'll see you guys then. Have a good time. We're out. Bye-bye.